Michigan football mailbag. I am James Yoder, and our first question is from Mike Zender. He says, Yoder, let's effing go. Bosa beat Ohio State again. Will Semaj get any playing time this week? Marsh looks extremely comfortable returning punts, and we have gotten better option at that third wide receiver spot, Goodwin, etc. That is the first question here on the Michigan Football Report. Folks, we are so close to the game. What, we got 4 days left? Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. 4 days to the game, and I am super pumped. And what do we have to make of Semaj Morgan? What is going to happen with him this week? Now, he was a surprise, at least to me. I didn't hear anything about an injury. There's been rumors out there that I've been not able to confirm or deny that it was behavioral issues, that it was social media, that he was responding, too immaturely to what people like you and I, maybe and others have said on Twitter, on YouTube, on Instagram, etc., about his play so far this year. There's another rumor that he got in a car accident, that he was minor injuries but didn't want to make the trip. I don't know if that's true or not. Could have been injured. I'm not sure. But if it was one of the other things, interesting to see how that'll shake out. Will they put him on the field against Ohio State again? Go back for me if you can, Jack. Just want to kind of highlight those wide receiver snap counts against Maryland. So with Semaj not in the game, and Michigan seemingly having the game in hand once you got into the third quarter, Andrew Marsh and Don McCullough played the majority of the snaps. And if you see kind of how that shakes out, playing the same amount, it really has transformed this offense into a 2 wide receiver and a lot of times 2 tight end set. You also had guys like Peyton O'Leary and others, Jamar Browder, Logan Forbes. Jack, you can't catch me coming back from there. I'm squinting to see these bad boys, but that's okay. Jamar Browder, Logan Forbes, walk on. But you see there with 0, Semaj Morgan, Kendrick Blair getting some playing time, Channing Goodwin upping his snaps the last couple of weeks as Semaj's role with this team has fallen off. Now, as I mentioned, offense, last 2 games. Considerably less 3 wide receiver sets, right? That was kind of the standard set you saw the first 3, 4, 5 games of this year with Semaj and, other players, right? It was Kendrick Bell. It was, of course, McCulley. But ever since Andrew Marsh kind of came on the scene last 6 games and then has made himself the obvious number 1 target at wide receiver with Semaj's, role taking a step back, Michigan has changed their offense considerably in the last 2 or 3 weeks. The base set, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, and a running back, sometimes 1 tight end, and you get Max Bredeson in there as in the backfield with Bryce Underwood, with a Michigan running back, and doing a lot of RPOs. But whatever Semaj's role is with this team, whether he comes back and plays, whether he's out for the rest of the year, whether he's suspended, it's an emotional thing, I don't think he deserves to be on the field at all for this game. I think he's been a net negative to this team. And if it's an emotional thing that he's getting too, worked up about people saying things on social media, I'm not sure what to tell you. He's making several $100,000 a year as a starter, was a starter on this team through NIL. And frankly, I think having him on the field against Ohio State can only hurt Michigan's chances to winning. And that's kind of the last thing I'm going to say there on Semaj. We will see him on the field on Saturday, maybe, but I hope it is not in a capacity where he is playing or getting the ball in his hands. All right, we got our guy, Mr. Blue, Tom O'Hawk. How do you feel the Michigan O-line will hold up against Ohio State's defensive front, and will they open up holes to allow our running game to have a good day? We'll see. Offensive line's looking pretty dang good lately, right? If you were to start grading the positions on the field over the last 4 or 5 games, what 2 positions have taken a massive step up? I think it's offensive line and wide receiver, right? The 2 positions that we were absolutely dog crap the first 3 or 4 weeks of this year. So a lot of credit goes to Sherrone Moore. A lot of credit goes to the offensive line coach. And if prior history shows anything, last year, all right, at Michigan, I'm going to pull this up, 172 yards rushing. The year prior in 2023, not as many, much better passing game, 156 yards rushing. The year prior to that, 252 yards rushing, right? 160 of those in the last 7 minutes of the game with Donovan Edwards. And in 2021, folks, 297 yards rushing. So do I think this program has the mentality? Do I think the offensive philosophy over the past 3 or 4 games has the capability? And does the offensive line have the skill and the effort and the talent to do so? I think it's a yes on all fronts. So I am excited about the game. I do think that Michigan's pass RPO game will even open up holes more as long as Bryce Underwood can, when he decides to pull back from the running back, make that quick throw, not get in a situation to be caught off guard with a zone or a disguised coverage like he did in the second half of the fourth quarter against Northwestern and ultimately turn the ball over. Because if that happens this game, that one is going to be over, and Michigan will not win again against Ohio State. They will not beat Ohio State again. Make sure we are beating Ohio State again on YouTube. As you saw on Monday's show, we'll try and update this for you in a day or two. We are in a subscriber battle against the Ohio State Football Report here on YouTube. Whoever gets the most new subscribers Monday through Friday wins, is going to win on the field. Gate Creeper with the question. He's got, can Michigan get pressure on Julian Sayin enough to make him uncomfortable? That's probably going to be the two things that make the biggest difference in this game, right? Look at the last 4 years. It's no mystery why Michigan's won these games. They have made Ohio State quarterbacks feel uncomfortable when it counted, right? Not always. C.J. Stroud had two big passing games, throwing the ball 47 and 49 times, bunch of completions. But what happened? What did Michigan do, right? Bend, but don't break on defense. Let Sayin feel comfortable inside the 20s. When things get inside the 20-yard line, be okay with them taking 6 and 7 minutes or 5 minutes for a drive as long as it results in a field goal. What I saw against against Maryland on Saturday in the red zone was some of the best defensive coverage that we saw from Jesse Minter and Mike McDonald, and the best parts of Wink last year, not just in the Ohio State game, but in the entire season, is when the team dinked and dunked and got down there inside the 20, they completely disguised the coverage, right? Maryland's quarterback was caught off guard. They even motioned guys out, right? Think about playing a video game. How do you know your opponent's in man versus zone? Well, you put a guy in motion, like a tight end wide receiver, and if a defender follows him across, you're like, okay, they're in man. If no one follows them across, okay, they're in zone. So Ohio State is going to probably try and do that. Maryland tried to do that, right? They had a 15-yard line, 3rd down and 4, whatever it was, take a guy out in motion out to the right. A Michigan safety, I think it was Cole Sullivan. Not Cole Sullivan. The safety, whose name I'm forgetting at this time, but followed him out there, and you think, okay, this is man coverage. He's going to know where to go. They're probably going to do some sort of short crossing route or some sort of rub route. No, Michigan adjusted on the fly, made it seem like man coverage, and it was still zone coverage. Guy snapped the ball. He's looking around, has no idea what to do, ultimately takes a sack. That's what Michigan's going to do against Julian Sayin. Bend but don't break inside the 20s. Confuse the hell out of him, make him make a mistake in the red zone like Coleridge Stroud did, like Will Howard did multiple times last year. Make that mistake in the red zone and give Michigan the ball back. Keep the game close enough in the first half, third quarter, until Michigan can continue to impose their will on offense and beat Ohio State again. I told you those rushing totals in the past few years, so I'm going to ask you this question. Will Michigan run for 175 yards or more against Ohio State? So let's put 175 as the number. I just want you to type over or under. Over 175, under 175. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this Wolverines running attack, which expects Jordan Marshall to be in the lineup. Shaddy Go Blue with the question, who takes Bredeson's spot, and do we let Bryce loose on the ground? So we talked about this on Monday's show. Jalen Hoffman. Now, Bredeson is expected to talk to media tonight, all right, here on Tuesday. It's either one of these two things, that he's going to play, or Michigan always has their captains talk to the media the week of the Ohio State game, and it doesn't matter if he's going to play or not, and he's just going to give vague answers about his own stats, talk more about big picture, being a Michigan man, beating Ohio State, what would it mean, all these sorts of things. If he walks out, if it comes out and he's looking good, he's not sort of walking boot or anything like that, I guess you're feeling a little bit more confident, but I don't think that matters to whether he's going to play. Some will interpret it as that meaning that he's going to play. I do not think that will be the case. Now, going over to Bryce Underwood, right, and what Michigan will do on there. Do we let Bryce get loose on the ground? Look at the games where Sherrone Moore has been head coach versus the 2 games he was out. It is night and day difference when it comes to Bryce Underwood. Now, I'd love to think that in the early internet days, back in the early 2000s, etc., you would always hear, oh, Michigan's saving that for Ohio State. They're saving it for Ohio State. They're saving it for Ohio State. And it really never came to fruition. Now, I'll give Sherrone Moore credit. When he's been involved in this offense, Michigan always does seem to come up with something that they save for Ohio State or the Big Ten championship game, right? think we got 3 years in a row with a running back pass, right? Khalil Mullings, the jump pass in 2022, Donovan Edwards in 2023. Was it Khalil again last year? Whatever it was, Michigan has had surprise plays. Could the surprise play this year be letting Bryce Underwood just absolutely run wild, have where he's been handing off on those RPOs? Could he fake the handoff in the air, fake the pass, take off? Could he do the read option where it's run or handoff option and keep it in situations where typically you're going to see on tape as an Ohio State defensive player, defensive coach, that he keeps he hands it off, he throws it. He's never taken off and running. Might do it once a game, twice a game. Will Michigan incorporate that? I think they need to if they're going to win this game. If they don't, I think you're leaving a lot of potential playmaking ability out there that doesn't get used in the most important game, frankly, at this point, of Sherrone Moore's head coaching career. 2 items for you that you can get pre-Black Friday sale. The Michigan Jordan brand Nike Jordan brand tee was $40, now $28. Chatsports.com/MazeT. And the Q-Zip, the same one Dusty May wears, the Maze Q-Zip. It's amazing. I've got it. Super comfortable, super form-fitting. Normally $90, now only $38. Chatsports.com/Mish Q-Zip. Link to both those. Second paragraph of the description. Go down, buy now, because they're probably not going to be on sale for very long. They're going to put them to max prices once you get into the Christmas season. Get yourself some great gifts for you, for family members. Go act now. Bob A. with the question. This is the game Underwood shows the world what's up by throwing. Both the throwing and running skills will be on full display. It's playoff time, so no need to worry about injuries if he runs more. Go Blue. And that's probably, the last part is probably the best argument you can make towards why Michigan would have not run him in the past as much and will against Ohio State is, what's the downside, right? Obviously, if something's career-ending or an ACL, that could be obviously detrimental, but you don't expect those sorts of things. Those are more fluke injuries. What Michigan's been opting, to try and have against is him to get some sort of lower leg injury or, a broken toe or something like that keeps him out 4 or 5 weeks and, misses the back half of the season. That's not going to be the case against Ohio State. You get him into the game, you make plays. If he gets injured, cool. He's back by spring practice. Michigan's going to lose the game and go to a bowl game if Bryce Underwood's not in the game anyways, and you'll see what Jaden Davis or somebody else is made of. Not going to be too detrimental to the future of the program. So there's no reason to hold Bryce Underwood back at all, in my opinion. The only reason would be if you're up by 2-3 scores at the end of the game, you don't want him to get hurt then and then, not have him for the inevitable playoff position that you will be in after that. Drew Cholak says, is Ohio State still a bunch of carpetbaggers who don't understand the rivalry? I mean, kind of, right? Do you think Jeremiah Smith or Carnell Tate really care about the game? They're from Florida. I can't remember where Tate's from. You think Julian Sayin is really going to care if he loses to Ohio State? I mean, he grew up in Carlsbad, California. He has never seen weather in a football game below 40 degrees. He's going to see that in the high 20s, low 30s this weekend. Hopefully a little bit of snow, right? Make him feel uncomfortable. But, he's a California kid. This rivalry does not mean anything to him. And I think that's been the problem for Ohio State under Ryan Day. They don't have enough kids that grew up wanting to beat Michigan. And Michigan has plenty of kids that grew up wanting to beat Ohio State again. Bryce Underwood is used to this weather. He's not going to be fazed by it at all. I don't think any of Michigan's players will, but Ohio State's certainly will. So beat Ohio State again. Comment Bosa. This is our week. Need every one of you guys to show enthusiasm down in the comment section. Don't let me down. I want to feel it from you guys. All right. Let's keep things rolling. We've got Jay Nocera 44 saying, shouldn't Semaj's role be similar to the style of play how AJ Henning played? Sucks that he sucks. I mean, yeah, it does suck that he sucks. And you are, I guess, spot on in that he should maybe return kicks and get, not punts, because he doesn't have the judgment to fair catch or whatever, run up field or go to the sideline. He doesn't have that instinct to be a punt returner. Maybe a kick returner, maybe, but just give him the ball in reverse once or twice a game and call it a day. Don't make him one of your top 3 wide receivers. I've not understood at all what's been going on with Semaj as a rotation wide receiver. I'm guessing we continue to see him with a limited role this Saturday against Ohio State. Next up from Andrew Marsh Lover on Instagram. It's at Michigan Football Report on Instagram. Make sure you go over and follow us right now. How many yards will Andrew Marsh have against Ohio State? Let's take a look at his last 4 games. All right. 6 games ago, he had that big breakout, 100 and some yards, and then he's been a steady diet, right? A steady diet of Andrew Marsh, right? Some of them corresponding with Bryce Underwood not having some of his best games, but 3 for 54, 4 for 25. His huge game, 12 for 189, and then 5 catches for 76 yards and a beautiful over-the-shoulder touchdown this past Saturday against Maryland. I am excited to see what Bryce Underwood and Andrew Marsh can continue to do. This combination is going to feed families for the next 2 years, if not longer, maybe 3 years. Maybe they decide to stay and go for another national championship in the 2028 season, but unlikely at this point. I'm going to guess he's going to have a good game. He's going to, he seems to get open. Bryce trusts him. Bryce looks for him. He's going to get opportunities. I would guess they're going to throw the ball to him at least 10 or 11 or 12 times. Going to finish with 8 catches, over 100 yards. We will see. Ask you guys the last question of the show. Will Andrew Marsh have 100 or more yards against Ohio State? I'm saying yes. Give me a yes. Give me a no down in the comments. Michigan is an 11.5-point favorite, or underdog. They should be a favorite now. 11.5-point underdog at home versus Ohio State. The over-under is 44.5. You look at these games over the past 10-plus years, rarely does it go that low. Last year, 13-10, but prior to that, Michigan has put the most points on Ohio State. I think something like 6 or 7 in the last 10 years. The highest anyone scored in Ohio State in the regular season has been the Michigan game. So we'll see how things shake out. We'll have much more for you on the channel this week. More videos, YouTube Shorts. Follow us over everywhere on social. And, of course, subscribe so we beat Ohio State again. Go Blue.